Hey everybody, it's the old sports editor Ronnie Gallagher, and we're here for another edition of the Sundrop pregame show. Now tonight we're down here for the big rivalry in Rowan County between South Rowan and Carson. We're here at South Rowan, and tonight you're going to see a lot of pink out there on the field and in the stands because it's Breast Awareness Week, and everybody's going to be wearing pink. You know, South Rowan has one win. They got it last week, so they're on a high. Carson lost in the final seconds on a long-distance pass last week to Statesville. So you'd think they're on a low, but they're not. They're ready to play. And South has been honoring coaches and players all year long. And tonight they're honoring some of their greatest coaches, you know, familiar names like Rick Van Hoy and Reed Bradshaw and those guys. And Jason Rollins told me there's going to be a special person giving the speech, the pregame speech for South Rowan Raiders. So we're looking forward to that. So we're going to go find Jason Rollins. We're going to go find Carson coach Mark Woody. And we're going to talk some football and drink some Sundrop. So we'll be back in a minute. Everybody to drink Sundrop, including Travis Billings, before the game. He can't make it without his Sundrop. Okay, we're here with the visiting coach, Mark Woody. I really shouldn't say visiting coach because you're only 4 miles away, but you know they're coming off their first win of the year. You had an unbelievable loss in the final seconds. So, how are your kids this week?
You know, we had a good week. I guess it was considered an unbelievable loss and still a loss we got to bounce back from against a good team at Statesville. But we had a real good week of practice, and we actually got a few people healthy this week, so I'm anxious to get on the field.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the injury situation. Who is coming back?
Well, we got Darius Gardner's healthy. He's been out for a few weeks. Also, Travis Abbott, who played some last week, but he's pretty healthy this week, and we hope to get him some more carries this week along with Brandon Sloop. So we got some kids in the backfield that can carry the ball. Okay.
You know, we were talking last week about a coach's job. You got to keep those kids up even after a loss like that. How do you do it?
Well, you know, we kind of prepare for that in times when you're winning. We talk about not getting too high, not getting too low, but, you know, playing the game and understanding, trying to be more than a rah-rah and understand the game. We teach them things, and hopefully it carries over in tough times as well.
Now, how have you looked at the South Rowan Carson rivalry since you've been here?
You know, in 2006, that was the big thing. Everyone talked about South Rowan and kind of wanted to play them and hopefully, you know, get a win. We couldn't do it, and we just weren't ready to win. You know, and the rivalry, I think, is a lot more with the people involved that went to school in years past with parents and aunts and uncles and things like that. You know, one of our biggest goals is to win a conference championship. And until somebody figures out a way to beat West Rowan, you know, that's just kind of how it is. So if this helps us get to a goal of winning a conference championship, that's what we want to do.
Okay. It's Mark Woody, Carson, and he's holding his Sundrop. You like Sundrop?
Oh, yes, sir. It's a great one. Yeah.
Okay, Mark Woody. And here come the Raiders. Okay, we're here with South Rowan coach Jason Rollins for the second time in a week. We were here for the Rome in the county. It's good to get down to God's country. And now, I was told that you're going to have a special guest talking to the other team before the game.
Right. We got a guy from back in the 80s who played here during some of the good years that I think a lot of people remember. And Chris Boardman, who went to school here, played football for Coach Deal and those guys. And great young man who he was in the military for many years and retired, and just an opportunity for him to come back and speak to the guys and, you know, talk about how important it is to, you know, not only the game of football and the game of life, but wearing that red and black.
Okay. Now, you know, you played in your travel from 4 miles down the road. You had to correct me earlier. It was four miles. 4 miles.
It may be longer, but I'm not sure.
Well, we're going to say 4 miles. And, you know, they're coming off a tough loss in the final seconds. You came up with your first win last week, so your guys ought to be pretty pumped.
Yeah, I mean, our guys, this is one of those games, it doesn't matter, you know, what the situation is. They're always ready to play Carson, and I know Carson's always ready to play South, and, you know, it's become a big rival, and that's you know, when you're 4 miles from each other, that's what it is. I mean, you can't change that.
Now, you know, you beat North Iredell 14-7 on a late drive. You went like 80-some yards for the winning score at the last. That had to tell you something about your team.
Yeah, 82 yards to be exact, and you know, I thought it said a lot about not just our players, but I also thought it said a lot about our quarterback and his decision making there at the end and doing the things that we needed to do. But you know, we give credit to the kids for doing that. They're the ones that have to get out there and play the game. You know, we can call a million plays, but you know, they're the ones that have to execute.
Yeah, I was talking to Mark Whitty earlier about, it's the coach's job to keep the players up, regardless of injuries or the losing record or whatever. How do you do it?
Well, we focus each week, one game at a time, and it kind of goes back from when I took the job, 6 years ago. That group of kids had the same mentality. They'd have a loss that would just eat at you as a coach, and it eat at the kids as well. But come Monday, right back on track. We're focused to go against the next team, and I think this group has that mentality. They're ready to go for the next one and the next one right after it's over. So we just keep fighting each week.
Yeah. How about some inspiration for you? I know this is the night that we're honoring some of the past coaches, good coaches like a Rick Bradshaw and some familiar names like Rick Van Hoy. How do you feel about having those guys here?
Well, makes me wonder why I'm standing out there with them, because it's an honor to stand beside Rick Van Hoy and Larry Deal and Reed Bradshaw, and of course I know they've got some people here representing Mr. Linder, and to be one of those 5 coaches is quite an honor. But more importantly, it's an honor for me to get the opportunity to stand beside those men. I got to work and was very fortunate to work with 2 of those men, and it's a tradition that holds tight at this school, and South Rowan has always been tight on believing in their core and their family and pulling together. And I'm like Rick, I was an outsider coming in, but once you become a Raider, buddy, you're in, and you're a Raider for life.
And the Raiders are looking for a big victory tonight. They're second in a row. So, Jason, good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we're getting ready to go in here and listen to Chris Boardman while Jason Rollins is out on the field but being honored with some of the other coaches. Chris played in the 80s. He was a really good player here at South, and I think you're going to enjoy his speech. And also I'd like to say that our webmaster was telling us that the top videos at the Post this past month has been the pregame show. And so thank you, viewers, and thank these coaches, because the reason people watch is because of the great pregame speeches in here. And I don't think anybody else will let the media get in there and listen to it, but these coaches do, and we really appreciate that. So until next week, drink your Sun Drop. Remember, buy it, drink it, love it. Until next week, this is Ronnie Gallagher. See you later.
Coach Rollins has got somebody here to talk to you. You need to keep your eyes on them and your ears open. Okay? Some of you guys know Chris. Okay? But Chris Boardman played here in the 80s. Played for Coach Deal. Everything I've heard about him is one tough son of a gun. Okay? He retired from the military, 25 years in the Army, 14 years in the Delta Force. And you guys know anything about the Delta Force? You don't get in there unless you're a tough son of a gun. Okay? He knows how to get the job done. All right? He's been in situations in small groups. He knows how to react, how to come out of it. He's going to give you some good words today. Keep your eyes on him and take it in. All right?
Thank you, Coach. Most of you might remember me from last December where we lifted weights together. For those of you that didn't lift weights with us, and maybe you know me because you know my daughter Dakota, you probably went to China Grove with her, and she goes over to Carson now. So my kids go to Carson. But fellas, I graduated from this high school 25 years ago. And 25 years ago, we were 4A. It was the first year that this school went 4A. We were expected to get killed and slaughtered by everybody. But we went to the playoffs that year. We had a great football team. So what is the reality of tonight? The reality of tonight is about forever. And how do you want to remember forever? What do you want forever to be? Because I'll tell you, for me, 25 years ago, every Friday night, I still think about that football season. But I don't remember anything about it except the night that we played our rival football team. And that night, 10 seconds to go on the clock, on the 35-yard line, the score was tied 10-10. We sent out the field goal team, kicked a field goal kicker had not missed all year, and the football fell 6 inches short. The game went into triple overtime. A.O. Brown got the ball first. They scored on second down. South Rowan got the ball. We scored on second down. Went into double overtime. A.O. Brown scored on fourth down. We scored on fourth down. Went into triple overtime. A.O. Brown scored on second down. We fumbled on fourth down on the 1-yard line and lost the game. We gave it everything we had that night, fellas. or at least we think we did. But forever, every Friday night, every football season, I've got to look at myself in the mirror and I've got to ask, did I give it everything that I had? Every time I see Coach Bear, every time I see Coach Fuller, we all played on that football team together. Every time I see them, I've got to ask myself, did I let them down? And I know for a fact when they see me or any of the other players, that same thought's running through their head. Did I let them down? Did I let my teammates down? You need to look at each other here tonight. Look at each other. Turn to your left and right. Look your mate in the eye. Look at him. What is forever to you? And in 25 years, when you're standing here where I'm at, think you're not going to remember this night? I'm here to tell you something, fellas. I don't care what's happened this football season so far. I don't care what's going to happen after tonight. You're going to remember tonight for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life. That's what it's about. Now, why is so much being asked of you? Why is so much being asked of you? Because so few are willing to give it. So few are willing to give it. There are 1,007 kids enrolled in South Rowan Senior High School. 1,007. There are 30 of you dressed out tonight. 30. Do the math on that, folks. So few are willing to give. Nathan. Where's Nathan? You willing to give more tonight? Yes, sir. Bubba, you willing to give more? Yes, sir. Stubby. Where you at, Stubby? You willing to give more tonight? Yes, sir. Are the rest of you willing to give more tonight? Yes, sir. A whole lot's being asked of you. And I can tell you, I'll be sitting on the Carson side. And I pull for Carson up until they play the South Rowan Raiders. And I wear my South Rowan football shirt, and I sit quietly in those stands, and I watch you boys play football. Because above anything else, I bleed red. And that is a fact. Tonight is forever, fellas. It is forever. You're going to remember it, and you're going to remember it the rest of your lives. And the way we can tell whether you gave it more than was asked of you is if you walk off that football field tonight. If you walk off and you are not victorious, then we know that you did not give it your all. 25 years ago, I walked off the field. And to this day, now I know that I did not give everything that I could have given that night. I didn't give enough in practice beforehand, and I didn't give enough that night in the game. Don't walk off the field tonight, fellas. You look at your mates, these coaches, doesn't matter anymore. It's all done. When you step out on that field tonight and that ball is kicked off from the first play to the last play, there is never a moment tonight that you can let your guard down. And I can tell you, being 25 years later, as a parent with boys that play football, all these other coaches, not a single one of them care if you win tonight if you don't walk off the field. And that means you have got to give it everything. You have got to give more than anyone else is willing to give. If you do that, fellas, you're a winner, regardless of the scoreboard. Because those coaches will look at you and they will know that you gave the absolute 100% of everything that was down in your soul. And 25 years from now, Nathan, when you run into Stubby, you can look him in the eye and you can know that you gave it everything you had. And you know when he looks at you, he's got nothing but respect. That's how you want to be remembered 25 years from now, fellas. Don't walk off that field tonight. A lot's being asked because so few are willing to give. Are you willing to give it?
Yes, sir.
Are you willing to give it?
Yes, sir.
And let's get it done, fellas. Thank you.
We're a team. Let's go. Unity on three. 1, 2, 3. Unity!